Becoming a well-rounded person in our modern society is no easy task. We're much too busy working, raising families, and trying to carve out a few precious moments of peace, let alone worry about becoming self-actualized. Hi, I'm Alan Daysberg, founder of School of Human Potential, and we get it. The reason for starting the school was to help people like you become well-rounded and self-actualized without taking a lot of time or money. We found and filmed world-renowned experts and put their knowledge into easily accessible online courses spanning various topics of mind, body, and spirit. You can go at your own pace and access them on any device. To start, go to www.schoolhp.com. Our hope is that you allow us to take you on a journey leading to a new you. Here's to you reaching your full potential.
Hello and welcome to Evolutionary Women Radio Show with Carnilla Lillarose, where authentic feminine power is making a difference in the world. Hello everyone and welcome. This is Carnilla Lillarose at Evolutionary Women Radio, and Happy New Year to you all. It's lovely to be back, and I do see that the new year 2014 is going to be something powerful. I'm not quite sure why, but it just feels like this is going to be a powerful year. Well, my friends, I just want to see that I am on because we had a little bit of a sound thing going on here. I hope you can hear me. I could not hear what was going on a moment ago. So, Donna, if you can just let me know if I'm coming through okay by sending me a chat. Oh, good. Okay, we're good, we're good. All right, we're on in New Year and everything is rocking and rolling. Of course, I always would like to remind you that I would love to hear from you, either through the chat room or the phone. You can always go to the chat room at awakenedradio.com/live chat room. And I would just love to hear from you. Let me know if you are on and if you want to connect. If you have anything beautiful to share, bring it on, my friends. Let's make this new year about sharing all the beauty, the power, the glory, all that is coming through in the midst of all the old that is breaking down all around us. And I know it can be a little bit scary for some of us, for some of you, to watch what's going on. It does not quite measure up with the vision that we know is possible. But in order for the new to come forth, the old has to break down. We can't have both. You know, the structures, the old paradigm that we have been living in simply is over. And if we want to bring in the new, which we're all about here as evolutionary women, we need to be willing to see the old drop. And that means the old inside of ourselves, old patterns, old behaviors, old beliefs, and here I want to just say hello to Dove and Butterfly. Thank you for being here. I'm so happy to have you back here. Very excited, and I'm glad that you just said hello. So here we are in the new year, right? We want to create something that is better, a lot better than what we have been going through the past many years. And we need to keep staying strong in what we know in our heart is true. We need to keep coming back to the peace, the love, the truth, the power, the vision, the dream, the love, all these things that our hearts are filled with. And our heart is what is communicating to us what this new energy is all about. It's an impersonal energy that we experience in our heart as personal. And it is personal in one way because It's uniquely something that wants to express itself through me, as me, through you, as you. And that's why it is so important that we learn to listen to what the deeper truth is. And for so many of us, that deeper truth has been covered in layers of untruths. And they show up as fear, separation, anxiety, comparing, competing, injustice, needing to be better than, all these things that this sweetness inside of our hearts has simply been covered. And what is happening is that the covers are dissolving so that the light in our hearts can finally start shining through and make itself known on earth, in this third-dimensional world that we're living in. This is where the light wants to shine. And it has been dimmed by our own ignorance and by our own unconsciousness. And now the light is beginning to shine through, and we need to make ourselves available for it. That's why it's so important that we keep coming together here on these radio shows and our many beautiful shows and hosts on this radio station. There are many, many, many things going on all around the world, and I think it is so important that we connect with these organizations and circles and workshops and retreats and talks and all these things that are really flowing with this new energy. And that, of course, is what we are about here all the time. So here we are, another broadcast of Evolutionary Women radio show. And I would like to talk some more about the subject that I always talk about. And my friends, I cannot help it, because that's simply my message. And when you find your message, you will notice that you can't get away with it and from it. It's just who you are. It is your energy that is expressing itself in a certain way. And I have been surprised so many times when I write something, if I write my blog, my e-zine, if I talk here, if I do workshops, whatever it is, teach meditation, it's always the same energy that's coming through. And that is because I have come into alignment with that in myself. And I'm not resisting it. I'm not doubting it. I used to do that a lot. Resisting it, doubting it, ignoring it, whatever. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that. And because I've been with this for so long, the message itself has helped me clear out that which has been covering the message. And you can see it's a process. And as you probably know, the main message that I bring is allowing. It is learning to allow what is to be. And that does not mean that you end up as a doormat where you just allow people to treat you badly. That's not the kind of allowing. I'm talking about allowing the energy that is showing up inside of your heart, in your body. That is what you need to learn to allow. That is what I need to learn to allow. And it is an ongoing process. It's not something you do once and then finito, I'm done. It doesn't work that way. I wish. Because sometimes it seems like it's a long road. But I don't know if it's really that long. It just seems like things are moving really fast these days. And we just need to get on board with this energy in ourselves. That is who we are anyway. We have been separating ourselves from who we are, living as if we are something else than who we are, living as if we are someone else trying to be like others, trying to do what others say. And all that has done for us has kept us in a loop of unhappiness, unfulfillment. We might feel sort of safe because we are like them, and at least then we will survive. Those are the very old core messages that are underneath it all. And I see there is a hello from Teresa in the chat room. Hello to you, Teresa. Lovely to have you back here in the new year. So great to have my friends in the chat room. It makes me happy always. And I know that you're here because this is what you are about. All of you who are listening right now, it's because we're in this together. This is what is happening. For some reason, I'm a mouthpiece for this message right now. But you know, the message is just as much for me as it is for anyone else. It's an impersonal message that comes through. And here it's the mouthpiece, but it's more than a mouthpiece. It's also the message that I need to live every moment if I want to become more and more liberated. So it's not just I'm sitting here, I have all the answers. No, I'm sitting here learning. You know, when I write, when I talk, I'm learning and I'm sharing. And when I take my message seriously, and trust me, I do, I take it very seriously, that keeps transforming all the parts in me that are still identified with the old paradigm, that are still not fully liberated. And that's how it is for all of us. We are all on this ride together. And we're all here to be fully liberated. And the more we can support each other in that, share our experiences with each other, the easier it's going to be, and also the more fun. So again, we're going to talk about the power of allowing. And when I talk about allowing, it is because it is the antidote to resisting. Resisting is what we do by default. That's why we experience ourselves and life as dual or as separate. And I also talk about allowing as opposed to grasping for something. You see, it's as if we are always trying to resist, get rid of, push something away, or we're trying to grasp for something to bring it to us. And those two expressions or those two movements, whether it's resisting to push away or grasping to pull towards us, those both are an energy of tension or contraction. And maybe we can just do a little experiment here. I want you to, just for a moment, feel what happens when you just dropped the call back, but we're back. So I'm sorry if there was a little interruption. We're back here. So in case you didn't hear the last thing I just said here, I want to just invite you to, I want you to get a sense of what happens when you resist something or when you grasp for something. And usually when we grasp for something, it's because we have a feeling inside of us as if something is missing, and then we contract around it. So a lot of it's about contracting. So think of something that you are resisting right now. What is it that you don't want? Is it a feeling? Is it a situation? Or is there something you really want that you don't have and it causes you some kind of an anguish? So instead of allowing yourself to feel the anguish or the pain or the lack, you start grasping for something, wanting something from the outside, hoping that that will come to you and take care of that anguish or pain or longing you're feeling. So just give yourself a moment to feel something in your life that you are resisting or want to get rid of, and see what happens in your body. What do you notice? Do you start breathing more shallow? Do you notice that your jaws or your fists tighten up a little bit? Maybe your neck or shoulders or belly. Just get a sense of what happens when you are resisting something. Because the more you can feel that in your own experience, the easier it's going to be for you to do what will remedy the contraction, which is allowing. But if you're not aware that you are contracting or resisting or, creating this tension, then it's hard to know the difference when you stop doing it. So just, if you're not experiencing it clearly right now, take some time afterwards and just start noticing what happens when there's something in your life that you don't want, you say no to. And then see if you can track that back into your body and see what part of you is contracting or getting tight. That's the area where you create duality. And that is where you live as separate. And when we live as separate, we suffer. It's just, it all comes together. When we pull away from the wholeness and the oneness, the divinity that we are, when we pull away from that into a contracted state of separation, where we believe we are something other than the divine. And by the way, that's how we have been living for eons of years. So don't think you're not going to have that. There's going to be layers that still feel that, and that's okay. But what we want to do is bring awareness and light and love and expansion to those contractions. So all that they will do is, instead of pulling away from the wholeness and the oneness, by allowing it, it will kind of move back into oneness and wholeness, and then you are who you are. You're not living in separation anymore. This is basically, as far as I know, allowing what is to be instead of resisting and contracting around it. That's when you dissolve that sense that makes you feel separate and that makes you hurt and want something to remedy the pain. So we need to learn to allow, and wow, once you get it, it just becomes a very powerful tool in your tool bag that you will be applying consistently in your life. It's not something you just do once and then it's over. It becomes an ongoing tool that is always available, that is always power. It's a power tool. It's plugged into the one power, not in the wall, not that power, but that is the one power tool that will fix all the areas that are broken, contracted, separate, suffering, all those things. That's the tool. And we need to plug it in and use it. If it's just sitting there unused, of course, you won't fix all the broken parts. But when you really put it to use, wow, you will notice a big shift in your life. Sometimes just in small areas. But the more you apply it, the more you apply the art of allowing, the more separation will dissolve, and the more you will start living in and as the divinity that you already are. I want to just share a little story. When I was in Denmark over the holidays, my family, my origins are in Denmark, so I go to visit my family over the holidays every year. And, with the jet lag, with the time difference, I often have jet lag for the first few nights. And that always makes me not sleep, during part of the night. And it's not uncommon that I lie awake for many hours at a time, the first 1 or 2 nights when I get there. So I want to just share what happened this time, because what is so beautiful about it, I don't like lying awake, for 4 or 5 hours. Nobody really likes that. But for some reason this time, I really got to spend it very wisely. And I had an opportunity to be fully present with something that normally is still part of my life. It's not as strong as it used to by any means, but there are still remnants of that left. And it definitely colors my life expression as in away from oneness and into duality. And, when I have these, let's say, 4 or 5 hours in the middle of the night, normally I don't sit down for that amount of time to just be with this pattern of mine. If I would go on a retreat, which I used to do, I hadn't done that for a while. I used to go for 5, 7, or 10-day retreats, which is wonderful. And that's kind of a focused time where you can really spend your consciousness and your energy in exploring consciousness, like who am I and who am I not. So I was offered this free retreat this night where I was basically not forced in a bad way, but forced in a good way to really be present with this pattern that I have been has been with me my whole life. And I think I have shared about it in the past. I have definitely been a doer and a workaholic, and that has slowed down probably 80 or 90%. It's just really changed over the years, but there is still a remnant, and that remnant I call the anticipator. Now, how many of you can relate to anticipating the next moment? I think it's a kind of almost a disease in our society that instead of just being in the moment, resting as the moment, there is something in us that is always trying to get to the next experience, whether it's a good one that we long for or grasp for, right? Or if it's a bad one that we are afraid of, that we are fearing. So that's when we resist it, right? So that's where you get into that grasping for something or resisting something. It's a lot, I think it's a lot of it goes right into that pattern of anticipating. And I've seen this anticipator in me. I've seen that for a while, and I was aware of that's part of my pattern. And it softened a lot. But here I was like, wow, this is really what causes, any kind of anxiety or drive or stress in my body. It's this sense of anticipating the next moment. And it can be the most innocent anticipation. It can be just thinking about, for instance, I arrived in Denmark and, my family, and I love to cook, by the way. I think I have shared some of that really good, healthy food. So I was thinking, well, what shall I make for, what kind of dinner shall I make tomorrow for the family? Or, what shall I do here? So it was just very innocent things, but they were constantly pushing me into the future of what was supposed to happen or what I wanted to happen, instead of just resting in and as the moment. So here this night, I'm just seeing this, going to what food shall I make, or, what shall we do tomorrow, or, if I wake up late, what blah, 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 all the things that the mind does. like going into the future. That's what I was just watching, and I could very clearly see that the energy was anticipation. So what did I do? Well, I do what I always talk about. I was really going to take some time here and allow my anticipator to anticipate. Really, that is basically how it started. It was just a very conscious choice. Instead of letting it run there unconsciously in the background, I just really welcomed it up to the surface. So instead of trying to get rid of it, I was just allowing it. It's like, wow, here you are, anticipating the next moment, and the next, and the next, and the next. And I have a feeling some of you are laughing because it's such a common pattern that we have been conditioned to do here in the West specifically. So I was just allowing it. And every time I allowed it, something in me relaxed. And again, this is not necessarily new, but to do it so focused, that was very new and for such a long time. So I just allowed it, and something would relax in me. But then as soon as something relaxed in me, the anticipator would come in the back door thinking, oh, now I'm relaxing. Maybe something is going to happen now. You know, maybe an insight, maybe something, blah, 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 blah. So it was like this catch-22 that I saw was running around in, because every time I allowed the anticipator to just anticipate, there was this short relaxation and then an immediate like, oh, what's going to happen now that I'm relaxing? So you can see the pattern, and I know we all have silly patterns like that keeps us basically on the merry-go-round because we don't take the time to fully meet it. So that's what I did here. And at the same time, I'm also very aware of what it is that I really want. Because anticipating, I don't want to anticipate every moment for the rest of my life. I may exaggerate a little bit now, but that's kind of what it feels like sometimes. And that's not what I want. What do I really want is to just rest as the divinity that I am. That's what I long for. That's what I really want. So by doing the anticipator thing, I'm basically doing the opposite of what my heart is deeply longing for. Oh, I want to just read this. Thank you from Dove and Butterflies. You say, I project fear onto the future. It does make me sick physically when I do that. Yes, exactly. And it makes us sick sometimes physically, definitely emotionally and mentally. And it's a pattern we're all hooked into. So the more of us can start unhooking, and I will tell you how I did that. We are almost at the break time, so I'm not going to go fully into the story right now. But I want to just respond to this because this is what we do. And it makes us sick. Physically, emotionally, mentally, or spiritually, it makes us sick. Because we always live away from ourselves. You know, some people live in the future, projecting fear of what might happen. Some live in the past, regretting having done things or having gone through traumatic experiences that still are with us. So we always, and then there's of course a part of us that wants to heal that and come into relaxation and healing around it. And that's a natural and okay thing. So again, it's not that there's something wrong that we are wanting that, but it's just the way we approach it that is not helpful. So it looks like we're going to go on a little break now. So I'll get more into the story after the break. And in the meantime, I want to invite you to go check out my website if you want at lillarose.com, LILLAROSE.com, where you can read more about the work that I offer. So here we are, and we'll be right back after the break.
Catch us sleeping through the fight and like Exploring your dreams 2014, a live online class with Rob Ragazine. Hosted by the Awakened Radio Network. When? January 25th, 2014 through April 10th. It's a bi-weekly class for 6 weeks. What time? 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern. Where? In the comfort of your own home. Do you know what your dreams mean? Do you know how they might be offering guidance and direction to you? Can you use your dreams to learn more about current or past issues? Want to find out? Rob Magazine will bring you his insights, his intuition, years of research and personal one-on-one with clients into a bi-weekly class that lasts 1.5 hours here on the Awakened Radio Network. You can find out how to interpret, how to understand the messages in your dreams. Come to awakenedradio.net today. Look at the top where it says Exploring Dreams. Get all the information and register to find out dream analysis, dream symbols, dream fragments, forgiveness, health, abundance, meditation, stress, dream drama, archetypes, all manner of information that you need, step-by-step guidance, plus a lot of fun in a live classroom setting where you interact with other students as well as Rob as he walks you through the definitive, the best explanation of what your dreams mean and teaches you to interpret your dreams for your own wisdom and your own answers. Remember, awakenradio.net. You look towards the top of the page under the banner where it says Exploring Dreams. Get all the details, register, and sign up for Exploring Your Dreams in 2014 and beyond. Invite your family, your friends to join you.
Welcome back to Evolutionary Women Radio, where authentic feminine power is making a difference in the world. Thank you for joining and listening. This is your host, Pernilla Little-Rose, and this show is brought to you by Women Standing for Love. Welcome back. Welcome back, my friends, to Evolutionary Women Radio. This is Pernilla Little-Rose, your host, and today we are talking about allowing. And I'm going to talk a little more about how I liberated my quote-unquote anticipator. And this has been actually quite a powerful shift in my consciousness just by having gone through that little process that I went through in Denmark. So let me get back here. And if you have any questions, feel free to chat in or call in. And the number to call in is 334-649-7204. If you have any questions, or if you want me to help you a little bit if you feel stuck somewhere, because stuck is really what we are in these patterns. We're stuck in them and we don't know how to get out of them. The only way we know how to is try and get rid of them and resisting them. And it doesn't work. It just keeps it at bay. It just keeps it out there, and we need to keep using our energy to keep it away, but it does not shift. It does not shift us into oneness if we have to keep something separate all the time, right? It keeps us in duality. So here I am in the middle of the night. I'm allowing this feeling of anticipation, or this energy. It's really an energy of anticipating the next moment. And I can see how I am actually, there's a part of me that keeps engaging in it. So if you imagine this pattern, and you can put in your own pattern here, there is a pattern that we're so used to engaging in, but it's just an energy. It's just basically a suggestion. It's an invitation to engage in it, but it has nothing to do with you or me or us. It is a suggestion. And it is up to you and me to engage in it or not. So the way we engage usually is by going along with it and then resisting because it hurts. There is something in us that contracts. So here I am allowing and allowing and allowing this energy of anticipation to just do its thing. And in me allowing it, I keep separating myself from it because my regular resisting or getting lost in it is now not happening because I'm just allowing it. If you can get this, the energy of allowing is what liberates this energy from me, not from itself. The energy is just doing its own thing. But by me allowing it to just do its own thing and giving myself permission to not having to engage in it, I set it free, simply. Now, that didn't happen over one. I had to do it many times, but I kept doing it because it kept coming back. And then I would just allow it again. And every time I allowed it, there's an energy inside of me that gets liberated because now I'm not engaging in it. You see the difference? It's a very distinct difference between allowing something and engaging in it. So here I am, and then every time I allowed it, something relaxed, and I could go back and rest as I, which is really what I want and what I do most of my life. Maybe not most of my life, but a bigger and bigger part of my life, because that's what I want. That's what my heart longs for. And every time I allowed, it felt like I created a bigger gap or a bigger distance between the pattern of anticipating and between me or I. So there was just more and more space between us instead of me being completely engulfed in it. By allowing, the gap got bigger and bigger and it got easier and easier to stay in and as I. So there was a deeper relaxing happening. And then at a certain time there was enough space between I and the pattern called anticipation, because instead of me being engaged in it, that engagement creates a gap, or the lack of engagement, I should say, creates the gap. So now I could see this anticipator more clearly, and then I could say, wow, so what is it about this anticipating? Why is it that I want to go and engage in it? So it was a very loving and kind exploration of this energy called anticipating that I have been caught in. And then I could see, so if I anticipate, let's say, whatever I'm going to cook for dinner tomorrow, I'm just saying some silly things, but they're all silly. So then I could see, okay, so if I think about, what I want to shop, what food I want to make, how I want to make it, whatever, then something in me feels sort of fulfilled because there's a joy for me in doing that, making the food, making good food for other people. It gives me a great sense of joy and connection. So I could see that what the anticipator wants in that case is just to feel this sense of fulfillment or joy. And I thought, well, that's all right. That's cool. Certainly nothing wrong with wanting to feel joy and fulfilled and connected, right? These are all the qualities of our heart anyway. So I just let myself feel that, right? Instead of going with the anticipating of what I was going to do, I just stayed and felt, I want to feel joy. I want to feel fulfillment. And then I just let myself feel, let's say, the end result of the anticipation. So I was already at the end of what I was anticipating, and then I was just resting as joy and as fulfillment. And deeper and deeper relaxation happened every time. Because now I was not just allowing, I was also listening. And through listening with love, there's a lot of information released. And I could see what it was. And then I could see other things that this anticipator wanted. It just wanted to feel at peace. When it's already done, then I can relax. So I just let myself feel that sense of relaxation when it was already done. So as I just kept going back and forth between anticipating, getting hooked in it or getting lost in it, then allowing the energy, as I allowed, I would kind of fall back into I and just resting as I, and the gap got bigger. I could inquire into the anticipator. It was like, well, sweetheart, what do you want? I do this in a very loving way, because that to me is the best healer of anything. And then I could keep seeing what I wanted, and then I could just say, yeah, but of course I want that, because joy is really what I already am. Fulfillment, connection, that's already what my heart is expressing. So it was just keep coming back and see that what I thought I could get from following this anticipation, it was already here. I am already that. And then give myself permission to fully rest as that. So more and more was resting. And the anticipator was not done, the anticipating energy, because that kept coming back, because I have been feeling that a lot for maybe many lifetimes, who knows. And then at a certain point I could just say to the part in me that usually engages with the anticipator, I could say, sweetheart, you don't have to go there anymore. And that part of me that usually goes to engage went, oh, I don't have to do that anymore. And then again, deeper relaxation. And the pattern, what I'm sharing with you now, that kind of kept repeating itself for quite a while. I don't know if it was an hour or several hours. I really don't know. But it was a process of liberating my consciousness that I had kept imprisoned or cemented in, like I talked about a few weeks ago, by engaging in anticipating. It was my engagement, it was my choice, although it was an unconscious choice, it was still my choice that I had kept engaging in this energy of anticipating. So here I go like, oh, sweetheart, you do not need to do that anymore. It's okay to not go there anymore. And deeper relaxation happened. So you can see it was an ongoing unhooking from engaging in the anticipating energy. See, I hope I'm saying this clearly so you can get it. It was an ongoing unhooking. It was my choice to engage that got weaker and weaker because I talked to that part of me and I gave her a new kind of information that she didn't have before. So she started relaxing more and more. Like, oh, I don't have to do that anymore. I don't have to anticipate the next moment. And the more I did that, the more it made total sense. Like, no, I don't have to anticipate the next moment, because all it does, it makes me feel stressed or anxious or whatever. And when I really got that at a felt sense level, so I could feel in my body like, oh, I don't have to do that anymore. Deep relaxation and an instant resting back as I. You see, that's kind of the pattern. And then more and more I was able to rest as I. As I. And then I could really feel that the sense of I is exactly the fulfillment that I thought I was going to get by anticipating the next moment, but it gave me the opposite. But now, because I have talked to the part that's engaged in the anticipator, she's relaxing now. She's aware that she does not have to do that anymore. So now, this I that I already am, that I always have been, now as I rest more and more in that, then these quotes came to me, which I used to love from the past. I think I've shared them before when I was reading a lot of Joe Goldsmith's books. He had a lot of quotes from the Bible. And my favorite one has always been, I perform that which is given me to do. It actually goes like, he performs that which is given me to do. And he, that is probably God or something, some high being. But when you start realizing what I am, what this I is, that is the he that we used to project out there because we had not realized our own divinity as I. So here I'm just getting this sense of like, I perform that which is given me to do. And then really feeling, sensing, resting into what we call I, the felt sense of it. And in that there is this deep knowing that yes, I perform that which is given me to do. And another one of my favorites from the past is, I go before you to make the crooked places straight. Or I go before you to prepare a place for you. And that's again how it was said, but I'm realizing that this I, it's my I. It is that which I call I all day long. And that's why it is so important to start realizing what is this I. It's not just your personality or your name or your gender or your job. It is something so big and vast and true and beautiful. And we need to start waking up to that sense of I, because this I performs that which is given me to do. And because I have given myself permission through this interaction that I shared with you to not engage with the anticipator anymore, now I can engage with I much more easily. And again, I'm saying that this is not new. It's not like this all happened overnight. I don't want to give you the impression that it was just that easy, because this is a practice that I've been with for many, many years. And the I was realized a long time ago, but there have always been these layers that kind of prevented me to fully rest deeper in it. And I guarantee you there's probably going to be a lot more that I still need to, uncover and maybe have a conversation with, or in intelligent conversations to help these parts let go, to help the part of me let go of what it's been holding on to as separation. So it's a process, and we need to be very, very patient and gentle and kind with ourselves as we go through this process of liberating all these parts that we have imprisoned by engaging in them. So just feel for a moment, when you say I, don't just say I with your head. When you say I, have a curiosity inside of you that says, yeah, what is this I? Who or what am I? And then just be curious Don't try and find the answer if you have not experienced or realized what I am, or if you're not aware of it all the time, which is totally normal. Just be really gentle and let I come to you. Let I reveal itself. Let your I, that which you call I, let that show you what it is. You know, you can even use this statement here, I perform that which is given me to do. So let I show me what I am. It's really a learning to rest back as I. And the more we are able to do that, then we can start picking up on the qualities and the essence. What is this I? And if it is true that I go before me to make the crooked places straight, and I perform that which is given me to do, if that's really true, wouldn't you want to know what I am? Wouldn't you want to just be able to rest back as that? Just try and say I, and then rest back. And let I, it's like a cushion or a cloud or a space of I, let I reveal itself to you. Because this is where we want to, this is the place we want to rest our awareness in. And by doing that, we become open vessels for this I that performs everything, if we only make ourselves available for it. Oh, and thank you, by the way, Teresa. I'm glad you're really loving this. I'm so glad. And you know what? So am I, because this is my favorite subject. Learning to allow what we resist. And as soon as we do that, it creates a gap where the engagement in something outside of ourselves or our thoughts, or resisting it, when we stop engaging, it gives us the energy to engage back into who and what we are. I feel that. Don't just make it a concept. Be open to letting I show you what I am. And if there are all these layers that are surrounding it, where you go, no, I don't trust it, or I have to do it myself, or I don't have time, those are the parts. If you can take an hour out of your day in your meditation, or create your own little sanctuary and sit there and just allow these energies that normally keep you away from resting as I. When you allow them, then you can eventually start listening to them. And then you can start loving them, and you will tell them what they need to hear so that they can relax. So that part in you will realize that you don't need to go there anymore. I may have shared this before. It's actually funny. I wasn't thinking about this, but I'm just realizing that I'm actually sharing with you what I call the ALL formula, ALL. That stands for allow, listen, and love. And that's exactly what we've been going through here. Isn't that funny? You see, I can't get away from my own message. I can't get away from it. I'm sharing it without even doing it consciously. But that is what we're doing here. First you allow. And that creates a space. And the more you allow, the more space you create. And then there's suddenly enough space so that you can start listening to what you normally resist. It's like a reversing. It's going backwards suddenly. And then once you listen, then you can start loving those parts. And the way I did it was by saying, well, sweetheart, you don't need to go there anymore. That just came spontaneously. That was not something I thought about. It was just an obvious thing, like, oh, I don't need to go there anymore. And it was so loving because that part finally got it, because she didn't know that. But now she does. Now that part in me knows. So when the anticipator shows up, and that part still shows up, that energy can still show up in my consciousness. But I've lost interest. I have seen through that, oh, I don't need to go there anymore. And that feels so wonderful. I can't even tell you, that is such a liberating and loving and healing experience to have. And instead, I can just go back and know that I perform that which is given me to do. It's like, oh yeah, that's right. I don't need to go out and anticipate something. I can just rest as and then things start unfolding. And it is interesting. I have noticed that there are certain things in my life that go much more smoothly since then, because I'm not out there trying to make it happen. So that's kind of my little New Year's message for all of us, including me. And I certainly hope that you will take this to heart and maybe start practicing it in smaller ways or bigger ways. And you're always welcome to go to my website and find out more about what I do. This is really the work that I do, and this is what I help my clients with, my students, to learn to be present in a sense of allowing that which we normally try to get rid of. It's a total shift that can happen, and we need to keep doing it, frequently. For a while, it needs to become a regular daily practice where it's not something you have to do. It's just happening automatically because you know that you just follow this energy and it liberates you. So you can find more information on my website, which is lillarose.com, LILLAROSE.com. And you're always free to sign up for one of my 30-minute free discovery sessions, where we will kind of find out about where you're at, is what specific area you might need some support in, and if I might be a good friend or guide for you to go through that, so we could see if we might be a good match to help your liberation quicken more, maybe. And I would love to hear from you, meet you. You can always go to my Facebook page, Pernille Lillarose, or you can email me through my website. I'd love to hear from you if you have something to share. And here is a little message from Dove and Butterfly. It says, fantastic. I allowed the crying to come and go about 5 times now. Yay! Fantastic. Okay, and Teresa says, thank you, Pernilla. I love the sharing and this insight. It helps me a lot. Well, girls, that makes me so happy because it works for me, and I know when I share it, it just resonates. It seems to be so simple, and we always make things so complicated, and this is really, really simple, but we just need to apply it. So thank you, my sweet friends, for sharing that with me. And please share this with your friends. These broadcasts, they're always, you can always listen to the replay about a week or so later. You can go to my website under the radio show, and I'll be posting them there. So if you want to listen to it again or share it with your friends, I would be very happy. Just imagine if we all learned to allow, what a world we would live in. All right, my friends, let's make this the beginning of a great year. Start allowing, and I look forward to being here with you again next week. Many, many blessings.
Cause we're awakened, you won't catch me sleeping through the fight. And like we're all eyes open, showing our inside and light so bright. We are awakened, come and join our love, it's so right. If you could feel what we feel now, you'd be a leader filled with might. Cause we're awakened, you won't